Friday nights on BBC2, where funny politicians and political comedians get together with Kevin Day in Loose Talk.
One live audience, 5 comedians, 1 host.
Bit of chat.
Oh, that's loose.
The life and times of Larry Saunders. Hopelessly confused, but the show must go on.
Sounds like a funny clip. So let's show the clip right now.
Larry's a good man, but he is a performer. And you should try to think of a performer as a small, helpless child.
No, Artie, I have sex with him.
I'm so sorry.
And the return of the original TV cult classic, The Fugitive.
This is Richard Kimball's recurring nightmare. And each time it ends, he wonders whether he will awaken to the same nightmare of reality.
Next Friday evening lineup on BBC2.
When you're at the cutting edge of TV news, remember Murphy's Law. Make a good impression.
Nice teeth.
Be sensitive.
Hey, everybody. Miles just got his first death threat.
And keep in with the boss.
I haven't had a date in over a month, Miles, and you're starting to look real good.
Candice Bergen is Murphy Brown, award-winning American comedy coming to BBC2 tomorrow at 6.
Now on BBC2, the second of tonight's moviedrome films from director Sam Peckinpah. And our apologies for the very late start. That's because of tonight's live prom and extra highlights from the cricket at Lord's. So now we rejoin Alex Cox with a hint of what's in store.
We're at the Hotel Camino Real. If you come up with anything, we'd be glad to see you.
Bring that with you. Well, don't worry. If he's alive, I'll find him.
Well, alive isn't our problem.
Well, how about dead or alive? How about that?
Dead. Just dead.
I saw tonight's film, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, years ago and hated it. I saw it with a friend, Greg Hertzov, now the artistic director of the Exchange Theatre in Manchester, I believe, and he was much more positive. But for me, Alfredo Garcia seemed corny and a messy betrayal of the talent shown by its director, Sam Peckinpah, in The Wild Bunch and Guns in the Afternoon. 20 years later, I must admit that I was wrong and Greg was right. What he knew instinctively, I only figured out over the course of the years. Alfredo Garcia is an extraordinary film, perhaps Peckinpah's best after The Wild Bunch, and certainly his most personal film, hidden behind a sometimes very dubious B-movie veneer. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia is the story of Benny, a worn-out barroom piano player portrayed by Warren Oates. Benny learns there is a large reward available for the head of his best friend, Alfredo. Since Benny knows Alfredo is dead, he volunteers to dig the corpse up and bring the head back in a bag. Since it's a nice day, Benny decides to take his girlfriend, a prostitute who also had a thing going with Alfredo, with him to do the job.
Hungry, baby?
Pero, buenas por elotes.
Meat in the pot, honey.
Oh.
As you might expect, much tragedy, betrayal, and violence ensue. For Benny is not only a pathetic, burned-out, alcoholic piano player, he is also the fastest, most accurate gunman in all Mexico, able to kill 20 men with 10 bullets. It doesn't take much imagination to see that Peckinpah was making some sort of statement here, that he wanted to make the most preposterously action-filled film possible, and using his favorite actor, Warren Oates, to say something about himself. By 1974, when Alfredo Garcia was made, Peckinpah's career was looking distinctly rocky. The Wild Bunch had been a huge success, but subsequent films had not. He continued to fight with the studio and to find himself unceremoniously kicked off his pictures once they'd been shot. His health was not good. He lived a life of excess, to put it mildly. Benny, quite likely, is how Peckinpah saw himself. A hired gun, burned out, beaten down, consorting with prostitutes, and ready to play any tune that was asked of him, to undertake whatever messed up project came along. The fact that he was able to make a film as mad and personal as Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia means this wasn't really so, but no matter. Benny was the way Peckinpah saw himself in 1974, and it was the way he became, shortly after, a little pimp and odd job man for much richer degenerates. For such a cynical, nay, nihilistic film, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia contains a great deal of emotion, even tenderness. It's one of the few Peckinpah movies with a real love story, the only other one being Ballad of Cable Hogue. Here, Oates' lover is played by Isela Vega, a hugely popular Mexican actress. There's also a strong emotional bond between Benny and the severed head of his best friend.
You son of a bitch.
It wasn't worth it, baby. It wasn't worth her. I'll be damned if she's not keeping the best part of you company.
The cast is excellent, as always in Peckinpah's westerns, and this is definitely a western, albeit a 20th century Gothic one. Gig Young plays a gay gringo gangster. Emilio Fernandez, the great Mexican actor-director who played Mapache in The Wild Bunch, here portrays El Jefe, the bad landowner who sets all these evil events in train. Like The Wild Bunch, Alfredo Garcia exists in the shadow of John Huston's Treasure of Sierra Madre. Peckinpah shares Huston's great love of Mexico. At one point, a little overdone perhaps, Gig Young claims his name is Fred C. Dobbs. Dobbs was, of course, the Bogart character from Huston's film. But unlike Huston's, Peckinpah's Mexico isn't just folklore. He depicts the ancient hacienda as if it were the House of Usher, the modern world as a vicious, warped version of Las Vegas. He has a keen eye for detail, the kid at the petrol station who wants to wash Benny's windows and to know what's in that bag. "Dead cat," Benny replies. Peckinpah also has a fine ear for dialogue and for the full ritualistic speech patterns of rural Mexico. As Tom Milne pointed out in the MFB, it's all a blood-spattered search for money, but when Benny finally gets the bag containing the $1 million, he almost forgets it, picking up the sack with the severed head instead. As in Treasure of Sierra Madre and The Wild Bunch, the money, the gold is all important, the stuff that dreams are made of, worth countless human lives, but ultimately irrelevant, worth nothing at all.